Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Candidates Night, sponsored by the Edison Township Education Association. My name is Jeff Bowden, and I am the president of the ETA. I want to thank all our distinguished guests that are here this evening, community members, ETA members, and friends of education. So that's why we're all here tonight, to look at 6 candidates that are running for Board of Education in 2023. And as you know, 3 seats are up. We have 6 candidates. 50% of the people behind me will be an elected board member in January. Our moderators tonight are all ETA members. First, I'd like to introduce Ms. Dawn Penny. She's our legislative chair and does a great job. We also have Mr. Jerry Campione. Jerry is our second vice president, and he is an English teacher at Woodrow Wilson. Dawn is at Edison High School. And Ms. Christine Keefe from Baby Stevens. They are going to be responsible for asking the critical questions. Now, we also handed out a card this evening, so if you did not get a chance to turn it in, please do so to one of the moderators or myself, and we'll see that the question gets a good look. Can't promise that every question will be asked depending on time. At this point, the people behind me will be introduced by our lead officer, Jerry Campione.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening, everybody. I'm actually not going to do any introducing. Our candidates are going to do the introducing. But before we get started, I did want to just at least go over the ground rules for how we're going to handle this tonight, because obviously we do want to try to get through as much as we can and respect the 90 minutes that we have. So the way we're going to do things tonight is we're going to invite you all to do an opening statement. You'll have 2 minutes each, and we'll start at the far end of the table, and we'll just work our way down for the opening statement. After the opening statements, we will get into questions. Penny and I will be handling the majority of the questions. We will take a break between our rounds, and that's when Ms. Keefe will come in with what we call the lightning round. For our questions, once we ask the question, we'll ask that you limit your answers to a minute or thereabouts. We do have timekeeper who will try to keep you on track as best we can. We will also build some time for rebuttal. So if there's something that is said and you do need to rebut, we'll allow 1 minute for rebuttal as well. Again, we'll try to get through as many questions as we can. At the end of each of our rounds, we will then bring in the lightning rounds. The lightning round questions will simply be 1-word or 2-word answers. So it'll be very quick. We do have some visual aids for the lightning rounds as well, so we'll try to bring those and we'll try to be as best prepared as we can. So at the end, everybody will be afforded 2 minutes for a closing statement, and at that time we'll start at this end of the table and we will close going across. So with that said, I will invite our first candidate. So I'll invite Ms. Patel. The floor is yours for the opening statement. You'll have 2 minutes for that, and then we will just simply pass on down the line.
Good evening, everyone. And thank you for all ETA for this nice evening. I'm a little bit like I'm new in this round, but let me tell you, I'm a manager last 10 years in nearby store, clothing rack to Archie Road, and I have a daughter. I'm a mother, so I know all familiar of teachers, right? I respect teachers. I know how to teach teachers. So teacher is most important person. So I believe all teachers are respect. So I'm very thankful to everyone right here. Thank you so much for a nice evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthony Gema, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you. I'm a lifelong Edison resident, 45 years old, and I've lived on the same street my entire life. I'm a product of the Edison school system. I attended Lindenau, Thomas Jefferson, and EHS. My children also attended Lindenau, Thomas Jefferson, and EHS. And my wife is a graduate of EHS as well, so we have a lot of Eagle pride in our house. So my son is a sophomore at Edison High. And my daughter graduated last year, and she's attending TCNJ as we speak to become a teacher. My wife is here tonight. She's always supported me in whatever I do, and she's here tonight to support me. I thank her for it. I'm a career firefighter, but before that I was a volunteer for 8 years. I'm a member of my firefighters union, and I grew up in a union household. My dad was a Teamster. I also have a background in infrastructure. I worked in the Public Works Department, and before that I was in the trade unions. I also owned some small businesses in the past, and they were successful. And I'm currently the acting chairperson of the Edison Historical Commission. I've also volunteered on various commissions and boards in the past. Why I'm running for board? I want to continue to help my community. I have a history of volunteering. I get great pride and joy out of it. I have pride in my community, and I don't plan on going anywhere. So with that being said, specifically, I want to, like I said, continue to volunteer. It brings me nothing but joy, and hopefully I can do a good job, and hopefully I'm fortunate enough to get the seat on the board. Thank you.
Thank you, ETA, for hosting this event. Words matter, actions matter more. Here is a sample of what has been achieved. Spearheaded zero tax increase initiative. Initiated vendor reform by replacing overcharging vendors. As a Finance and Facility Committee Chair, led the implementation of a historical $100 million facility expansion with smart financing and zero tax increase. Played a pivotal role in hiring a superintendent, implementing student residency verification, doubled the music and world language instruction time in middle schools, introduction of a full-size curriculum in elementary schools, launched a full-day kindergarten and implementing full-day pre-K next school year, championing of local hiring, internal promotions, and ensuring permanent hiring practice from long-term substitutes, even as new superintendent was hired from within. We have also worked together to create a better environment for our educators. During my 3 terms as board president, the district only had 3 or 4 grievances compared to my counterpart last year, 6 months, 12 grievances, an all-time high record. As DOE president, we successfully overturned 4 non-renews at domicile hearings, a milestone unprecedented in the history of Edison. As board members, we negotiated and settled at least 10 contracts with all unions. I led 6 contract negotiations, and especially the settlement of the first ever 5-year contract with the teacher union this year. To those non-certified staff here, I heard your concerns, and this contract serves as a testament of our commitment to acknowledge and reward your hard work. Chris, Angela, and I have similar views on education, and we are taking on this journey together to make our schools the best in the state. I look forward to our discussion tonight.
Okay. Hello, my name is Virginia White, and I want to begin tonight by telling you a little bit about myself. My family has lived in... Thank you. Should I start from the beginning? Okay. My name is Virginia White, and thank you for having us here. I want to begin by telling you a little bit about myself. My family has lived in Edison for 5 generations, where we have lived, worked, and raised our children. My husband Anthony and I were married for 55 years. He was a retired police lieutenant and a PDA member. Both of my children were products of the Edison school system and attended Ben Franklin, Herbert Hoover, and Edison High before attending Seton Hall University, where they received their college degrees. Both of them chose to be teachers, and that was their profession, and they were both proud to be Edison teachers. I have known firsthand the high quality of education that our school system provides. I have worked for the Board of Ed for 26 years, mostly as an administrative secretary at central office, and I have enjoyed every moment of it. I really have. It was my pleasure to serve 9 different superintendents during my tenure, and each of them had their own unique way of problem solving that I observed and learned from over time. These experiences have given me a unique insight that many of the other candidates do not have. I have always worked in a support position while employed by the district, and I want to continue in that capacity to support students, parents, all staff, including support staff, and the taxpayers of Edison. I, along with my running mates, want to hear everyone's opinions and views and to make the best possible decision for the benefit of everyone involved. In addition, I was a former ETEA member and proudly served as a co-building rep for the Ed Center. My father was a union organizer back in the day, and he lost his job for his efforts. Needless to say, I am totally supportive of all unions. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for having me here. It's a true honor. My name is Chris Lugo, and I've been an Edison resident since 2006, a homeowner and a taxpayer. My wife and I have 3 children, 2 of which have already graduated through the Edison school system, graduates at JP Stevens High School, and my youngest is now a freshman at JP Stevens High School. During their younger years at the elementary level, I was an 11-year PTO volunteer, Woodbrook Elementary School, and I'm a graduate of Rutgers University. I received my BA in Biological Sciences and my MBA degree from Rutgers School of Business. For my career, I'm a research biochemist, I'm an inventor, and I'm in drug discovery, and right now for oncology. And my career has taught me a thing or two about being innovative and learning how to appreciate innovation and how to be in the forefront and how to filter ideas so that you can concentrate on being innovative. I wanted to bring my perspective on innovation. I wanted to bring my skills earned from my MBA, skills earned from running a small business for the past 30 years, and I wanted to bring it to the board because I want to be able to do something for the community, to be quite honest. And I echo what Jerry said, Mr. Shee said, this is a great district, and I would love to contribute in some way, shape, or form to it, and actually make it second to none, to be honest with you. I would love to serve in that liaison capacity between the citizenry and the school administration, and to create a great atmosphere for our educators and our support staff, because it's a key pillar for providing the atmosphere that we need for our kids to succeed. Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Vijay Parikh. I have Master of Business Administration degree from State University of New York. I'm a small business entrepreneur. I'm in the IT firm and real estate business in Edison. I'm proud parents of 7th grade Harvard Tour student. I've been living in Edison for the last 17 years or so, and with my diverse background and experience, I believe I can offer a lot as BOE candidate. And with my vision as a BOE member is student achievement, student success, to make sure teachers has enough resources and help to teach the children, and for the taxpayer, how to make sure we continue to maintain $0 increment or inflationary tax increment policy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll be asking the questions now. Again, you will have 1 minute for your response. We're going to start at the end of the table, and we'll just move the same direction that we just did. So the first question, in your opinion, what is the role of a school board member? Ms. Padal.
Thank you for asking. The role of the most important thing, educators, students, and taxpayers. Make sure we have to help each and single person, right? Our goal is help. It's not saying only like, oh, we do this, we do that. No. We have to work hard on it. And like everybody says, oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No. Work on it. Thank you. I believe on work. Thank you.
believe the role is to work together as a board. We don't run the schools. The superintendent runs the schools. A lot of people think that otherwise, but I believe to collaborate together, come up with policy, advise, and to help formulate answers to fix problems that we face. We're going to be faced with a lot of them. We're going to be hit with a lot of them right now. The big one was the busing last week, but again, it's not to run the board, run the schools. It's to the superintendent shall run the schools. It's to advise.
The role of a board member is to ensure the school is well run, not to run the day-to-day operation of the school. But the other responsibility of board members, we are elected by taxpayers. We are the liaison between, the administration and, the residents and the parents. We need to raise the issue up to the superintendent. We have to know the only person that we speak to in the district is superintendent, and everything will go through the superintendent. Thank you very much.
The role of a board member is not to run the schools, but to make sure that the schools are run well, and just to oversee things and make sure that we're all doing a good job. I have to agree with what Anthony said. He's on my ticket, so we kind of look at things in the same way. But that's it. We're not there to run the schools. We're just there to make sure that they're run well. Thank you.
Yeah, to echo some of the sentiment that was already said, the liaison capacity of the school board member is very important. The taxpayers give us the levy for which we use to run our schools, and to make sure we responsible management of tax dollars and to provide everything that our educators and the support staff need in the schools and well-run schools and transportation. I would also add to also not just help out with the superintendent in hiring, but it's also for evaluation too, keeping them honest in their job and to be sure that everyone's doing their part. And within the board, the key component is to actually be a good team member and a good collaborator with the other folks on the board.
As a BOA member, the role of BOA member is, as everyone said, hiring the superintendent, evaluating the superintendent, just to make sure all the district runs well, and just to make sure we work as a liaison between the superintendent and board member.
Great, thank you. On the next question, I'm going to start with Mr. Lugo, and then we'll come this way, and then we'll jump to the end there. So, second question. Is there a particular issue that motivated you to want to serve on the Board of Education? Mr. Lugo.
I wouldn't necessarily say it was an issue, but maybe a current status. Full potential, and what I mean by that is that we can all do better. When I look at Edison schools, I see all the right elements that a town, that a community needs in students, in parents, and dedicated teachers, and all the other functioning support to make a district that really could be a shining star all over. And one thing I know about potential is once you fulfill it, you should keep pushing. You should always strive to be better. And I think that's the way to go for a district, is to just always improve upon the vision, always provide a better product for the students.
In my case, it's frustration of parents and taxpayers. Okay, we have been paying high taxes in the last probably 10 years or more. Okay, and nothing getting done. We still have an overcrowding issue, transportation issue. We have been paying the high taxes. The credit rating is going down. Okay, and still parents are paying the taxes and nothing getting done. So, and because of I feel like, okay, with my diverse education and background, I feel like, okay, I can bring something on the board and help them out. And that's my main motivation to run as a DA member.
Thank you, guys. You know, me and you, we same running, same column. So we have the same reason, we have the same issue. So I'm agree with him. Thank you.
My motivation was infrastructure. I have a background in that, and I look at the schools, and I think we can improve classroom sizes. These buildings need to be upgraded with modern, air conditioning. I want to help provide an environment that we can be proud of, so that the children and the teachers alike have a healthy environment to learn in.
I've been on the board for 3 terms, but I'm running for the 4th term because I have seen what the leadership did last year. Our school district was pushed back by many years. The labs was cut. The schedule was changed to really damaging the music and the world language program in the middle schools. And nobody is challenging the administrations on some of the decisions. And the infrastructure was gone. We're putting gyms in our classrooms. And last summer, we probably spent the same amount of money in the infrastructure upgrade. And ask yourself, what have you seen last year compared to this summer? Same amount of money. And we need to set the district in the right direction. We need to have a vision. We need to have a long-term plan. I have the experiences, and that's why I'm running for the 4th term. Thank you very much.
We have a magnificent school district, but we need to make it better. There's always room for improvement, no matter which way we look at things. Always better. This is my first term. This is my first 3 years, and I think we've accomplished a lot in these 3 years, and I would like to continue in that direction. I think for me, I have unfinished projects that will help our children. A lot of them have to do with traffic, getting our students there safely and getting them home safely. I'm looking at the infrastructure. We have the 3 phases. Right now we're working on 1. We still have 2 and 3 to go. As far as the gym space in the middle schools is a significant help in regards to school overcrowding. The principals at our schools requested these multi-purpose room improvements for space reasons. By building these large spaces, we free up already existing classrooms throughout every period in the school day. That significantly helps with school overcrowding, which we all know is such a monster in this district. We are trying, we will get there. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Ms. White. I'm sorry. I want to be rude. Thanks. All right. Next question. I'm going to change the rules on this one. This was a 30-second question because it doesn't require a lot. My question for you at this point, and we'll start with let's start with Mr. Sheik, is just an overview. What community activities and organizations other than this board have you been involved with in the community? Just to give them a sense of what you've been doing.
I have been involved in local language schools, and I have been involved in the band, the J.P. Stevens Band, for 7 years as a band parent. So sometimes when we talk about band and the other, I have a little bias toward that, unfortunately, but that's the way it is. I've been serving there for 7 years. Thank you very much.
And we'll just get right down the line. So Ms. White, you're up next.
Okay, I was very involved in PTO and PTA. Okay, Edison Boys Baseball, the Fifth Quarter Club for Edison High. I was very involved with all the activities that my sons were in. I was also a member of the VFW as a past president back in the day. My family is a family of service, and we try to give back. We belong to a whole bunch of different organizations, you know, the Environmental Protection Club, you know. I do that.
Like I think I briefly mentioned earlier, earlier as a PTO member with the kids in elementary school, that was great. I was actually a designated chaperone. My wife took care of a lot of the parties, and I was a chaperone. The 5th grade trip to Philadelphia was great. Aside from that, you know, some activity at EUSA when the kids were young with soccer. But to be honest with you, one thing I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to, something that has to do with the Edison Metuchen Historical Society. I'm a very big history buff, and I see myself shortly participating in something like that.
I've been affiliated with a couple of not-for-profit organizations, like the temple, churches, and you know, I used to, I was like a kids T-ball coach actually, and I used to, you know, coaching the kids in T-ball camps actually. Okay, thanks.
Okay, after school we have like 2 new programs. Like right now, children have a lot of problems with trash and a lot of like bullying thing. So I'm just saying like, just need to be like more sports activities, and I believe like yoga. That is a good thing to teach your children to make you calm. So I believe sports and yoga, that is a good activity for your kids. Thank you.
I serve currently on the Historical Commission. I was a volunteer firefighter for 8 years, I had stated in my opening statement. Briefly coached baseball for Edison boys. And I was also served as a board member on my union local.
Thank you. All right, we obviously have 2 slates of candidates, so this question, I'm going to start with Mr. Frick on this one, and in order to break the monotony, we'll go this way this time, just to kind of change the flow a little bit. So my question is, how do your running mates complement each other in this campaign?
We all have a diverse background. Okay, myself is more in the like, you know, business, business, and you know, I have skill of like management organizations and you know, budgeting, accounting skill. I will say Anthony is more into like union and vendor contracting. Virginia is more in the like more in liaison, and she knows like, you know, how to get things done from the state and local authorities. Thank you.
For our column, I think there's a lot of complementary characteristics in our column. Small business owners, for one, experience on the board, another, and even when you think about small business owner, you think about risk. And to be able to manage risk, to be able to take intelligent risk, nonetheless, it's actually far more important. And also, the different perspectives that we have, whether it be vision of 3, 5, 10-year horizon for the district, or taking care of current issues. 30 seconds. I just think we bring a good, diverse opinion to the ticket, a good, diverse background to the ticket, and good, diverse, I would say, academics to lend to the board.
Our slate is, they're unique. They're honorable, wonderful people who want to do the best for the Board of Ed and for the children of our town. We all offer something a little bit different, and if you put it all together, it's going to work just fine, I know it. I'm blessed to be running with both of these wonderful people, and I appreciate them. And I think, you know, we'll be good together. Thank you.
I'm very happy to have my 2 running mates. Chris is scientist by trade, and especially when we into STEM age, and we need someone with that kind of background to challenge the curriculum, to challenge the what we have. And Arjuna is involved in the store owner for 11 years. And she has a perspective from people who are in trades and also different perspective. And myself, I am a computer, have a degree in computer science and an MBA. So I think the most important thing, the difference between this slate versus the other slate is no conflict of interest. For board members to be, to have a full function, you have to have no conflict of interest so you can participate, you can vote on everything that the board is going through. Thank you very much.
Well, I don't think I can put it any better than Ginny said. Thank you, Ginny. But I will just repeat, Bijal has an MBA as well. And Ginny has the past experience on the board. And I believe those he has other qualities too, that I won't drag this out, but I believe those qualities will help. And I would just like to say that Bijal and I do not have any conflicts on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad to run with Jerry and Chris Logo. Chris Logo has a small business, and Jerry is currently right now board of members. So I learned from him. I'm still learning, but I learned a lot of things from him. And right now I'm managing my business, and I keep all employees in safe environment and keep a nice environment so they can work happily. So I just believe work with everyone. So I'm glad work with Jerry and Chris Logo. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So that's our first round of questioning. Now it's a lightning round. So I'm going to ask Ms. Keith to come in for the lightning round. The lightning round is just that. So we're going to ask for our answers to be short and quick. We do have some visual aids that we'll be using for some of them because some of the questions are multiple choice. So rather than having you remember all the choices, we do have some signs for you to refer to. So the floor is yours.
Hi, so my first question for you is, what do you see as the #1 strength of Edison Township Public Schools? And we'll start from the far end with Ms. Patel, and we'll go down the line.
I think all teachers working together. This is a better education right now, but I believe more better education from all teachers. This is what I see. They work nice right now, but I see some of too many issues from buses and from taxpayers. So I don't know how we work for them, but let's we work out together.
And we'll continue down the line. Just a quick reminder, just a quick couple more minutes.
Our admin and our teaching staff.
Students, teachers, educators, and parents.
Students, educators, and parents, without a doubt.
I would say community support for the entire community. Support from the parents for the kids to push the learning envelope, support for the teacher for doing a good job, and support from the board to make everything possible.
As a student, educator, and taxpayer.
We'll keep the same order for this round. Next time we'll switch it up. But my second lightning round question with a quick 1 or 2 word answer. When budget cuts are necessary, what is your priority to keep? Okay, let's start in the same order.
Yes, budget. We keep a budget zero budget. I believe a budget.
Just to reiterate the question, when budget cuts are necessary, what is your priority to keep?
My priority would be to keep all the staff.
My priority is to keep everyone. And go find more money.
Okay, our first priority is the students and the quality of their education.
I agree, first priority is students, but we need to dig, cutting, last resort.
We should keep the same budget, but definitely we need to find like more funds from public or private.
All right, this time we'll go kind of backwards the other way, starting with Mr. Parikh. And this question, Ms. Penny has visual aids for you. It's a multiple choice question. We all know overcrowding is an issue, so please rank the following by immediate priority. And the choices are, or the rankings would be, including acquiring land, new construction on existing grounds, bringing in modulars or trailers, and repurposing warehouse or office space.
New construction on existing ground, acquiring land, okay, bringing in modulars and repurposing warehouse offices for space.
I would say the new constructing on existing grounds and then bringing in modular trailers, they seem to be the most tangible, with acquiring land and repurposing warehouse office space.
All right, I would say new construction on existing grounds, acquiring land for sure. Repurposing warehouse office space is interesting.
New construction on existing grounds because we don't have to pay for it. Acquiring, bringing the modular, I don't like modulars because I want to get rid of all the modulars in our school district if I have a choice. Acquiring land, if the land can be used for construction, and the repurposable warehouse is the same category as acquiring land.
I would say new construction on existing ground, acquiring land, repurposing, and then modulars where needed.
So new construction on existing ground and acquiring land under that.
All right, so now we're going to get to the hard questions. I got one from the audience. I'm going to open this up to anybody who wants it. What can we do about upgrading the teacher restrooms at some of our old schools? Open a suggestion. Mr. Sheehan, what can we do? Let's fix the toilets. What can we do?
As you can see, some of the schools, we are upgrading the restrooms. And we just got a ROD grant to fix some of the restrooms as well. But unfortunately, during this new construction, we have two gyms. The architect did not even actually speak to the building principal and when they actually designed it. So there was no bathroom for those gyms, which is, the two schools are Woodrow Wilson and John Adams. And we got to change that, right? So, we try to modernize as many as we can, but if you go to your buildings, you will see some of the bathrooms have already been upgraded. But we are looking for adding more restrooms for the schools whenever we do any new construction.
Anyone else care to chime in on the restrooms?
Wasn't my phone.
Oh,
No.
we're going to leave it at that. Let's jump, actually, we do have changing gears now. We'll be looking at the finances and what have you. So I'm going to start with a fairly simple question. In interest of time, we're going to keep this one to 30 seconds. So if you can, and Mr. Lugo, we'll start with you if that's okay. Just looking for your top 3 priorities for the top 3 needs that we have here in the school district. So in your opinion, what are the top 3 needs that we need to address? And then we'll just swing around right now.
I would say the top 3, certainly overcrowding. There's no, we got to just the elephant in the room, it's overcrowding. So it's just back to parent night, back to school night, and I witnessed what the kids see in J.P. Stevens. Busing, I would say transportation could be a little bit better than possibly management of traffic during the morning hours to schools. I'll keep it at that.
Definitely construction, like a new schools. Second, I would say like new facilities like at IT technologies and science labs. And third one, definitely we need to find like more funds so we can have more projects.
Ms. Patel?
I believe like buses problem right now. I'm suggesting like we have to put the new GPS system in our buses. It doesn't better. We have to create a new system so there's less problem to crowd. And other thing, we have like issues about too many parents complaining about like they don't get the buses. I heard about recently like you passing this new rules, the subscription buses. But I believe if you do that, we less crowd and people walk. Thank you.
Thank you.
My top three priorities would be, first, air conditioning in the schools. I believe that's long overdue. Building and construction would be number two, including faculty bathrooms. And the third would be, I agree with Bijou, would be finance securing money to pay for all this stuff.
Top three is spaces, and spaces. Okay. And the other thing is, we need to hire more staff because we are short staffed. And the third thing, the whole administration accountable.
Okay, again, overcrowding, as I said, it is a monster, but we are trying very hard. We do have plans in the works and we just need to follow them and adhere to them. We do need to hire more teachers. Our teachers are doing extra periods and stuff to fill in. I mean, there's just not enough of them to go around, so we do need to increase our workforce. We really and truly do. And I would say that those are the two most important ones for me.
Thank you. We're going to talk money. Over the last few years, we've seen some increases in our state funding. So with that in mind, and heading into, of course, a new year, the question, and I don't think I started with Mr. Dima yet, so I will start with Mr. Dima on this one, is if you can explain what would be your priority, your budget priorities if you were elected. So how would you prioritize your budget issues? And then we'll just run down the line. Thank you.
Well, as I've stated before, and I hope we continue to receive the funding that we are, because it's absolutely beautiful, the money we've been getting, but I have a lot on my mind, but my priority would probably be, again, infrastructure. I want the staff, the students especially, to have a healthy environment so we can produce a good product, and that is the education to the students. That would be my top priority, would be right now. We have an opportunity here. We have money coming in that we haven't had here. Let's utilize it and put it to good use.
It's very fortunate we got some extra savings. And since the action of this board is we put $100 million investment, more than $100 million investment into the infrastructure expansion, not a penny extra increase for taxpayers. This is what we should continue to do. As I said, space, and space. We need to create a space for our students to learn. We need to create an environment for our teachers to teach. And we need to have, extracurriculum spaces like fields, auditoriums, and others for them to expand their curriculum and their interests.
As I stated before, our first priority is to the students and the quality of their education. Taxes can never stay at 0% forever, and I mean, that's just plain honesty. It's inevitable that they will eventually go up, and we can only stretch our budget so far. We need taxes to remain stable. Tax stabilization, we really do need to do that. We want to make sure as board members and as residents that we get the very best value for our tax value, for our tax dollars as we can. We are all taxpayers. We don't want to see it go above a zero budget. But, who knows? Maybe it will stay at zero forever. and we won't have this problem, but, you know, the economy is the economy. We're lucky that we've gotten the aid that we have gotten from the state, and, you know, I'm very happy that we were able to do that. The ROD grants have been wonderful. You know, thanks to John Toth for putting in the applications.
So as far as budget priorities, definitely what we already set in motion was school expansion to alleviate overcrowding, school security. And I would like to see an investment with that as well.
For budget, for the budgeting, like, okay, you know, we need definitely like we need to make sure, like, okay, you know, teachers has, like, you know, all the resource and help to teach the kids, and kids should have, like, you know, all the facilities, like, you know, the upgraded technologies lab and science level like that. Second thing, definitely we should consider about like e-buses. You know, after district, you know, they are already talking about like e-district e-buses, and state has already funded like a $45 million grant for e-buses that you can write off, like, you know, in the next 3 years or so. Thank you.
Our priority, like school, students, educators, and taxpayers. I'm talking about, like, I believe that certain members, they keep the zero taxes budget. And we have to try. It's not like hard to keep a 0% budget. They did last 3 years. So why we can't do this year's too? Right? So in the teachers and students, whatever they need resources, we have to provide them. So I believe zero tax budget, and we can do it. We can do together. We don't believe like, oh, we can't do it. We can do it. Last years we did, so we can do. Let's try, okay? Thank you.
Okay, staying on the same theme, yes, we have gotten a bunch of money due to Governor Murphy's commitment to education. His term ends in January of 2026, so we know we're getting money for next year. What happens if the next one that succeeds him, because he cannot run again, doesn't have the same commitment to education that he does, and the money dries up and we could go all the way back to the Chris Christie years. So I want to start with Mr. Dima, then Ms. Patel, then we'll over here so that the incumbents have the mic last.
Well, let's hope we don't go back to the Chris Christie years. I lived through that, and I don't want to do it again. But if we remember back to those years, we did have to tighten the belt. I'd like to sit here and tell you tonight that I have all the answers for that, but I don't. It's about budgeting. It's about being smart and fiscally responsible at that point. And that's all I have for you. We really, really hope we don't go back to that, and I don't think we will. But if we did, we would have to start using our heads.
I'm not sure, you're just saying right now, like, same person not electing next time. So that depends, like, BOE members, whoever work with them, they have to try. This is what we believe. I'm not sure you can do it, but whatever you have budget, just let them do it. Work together and do together. That's it.
I won't worry about it, who is going to be next year or not, or after 5 years or not. Like, you know, I will find a way to get the funds from the state. We need to work around, and we need to get the fund from there. And there is another thing that we can work with private companies and work with them and ask them to sponsor some of the facilities. Okay, and we definitely train our grant writers and try to find more resources from the federal and state.
That's certainly a possibility that the funds could dry up. But I think first and foremost, have our voices be heard and have Edison get the money that they deserve for the township to support their township. However, that would only go so far, but what would be within our control is to really continue to scrutinize our vendors. Where are we overspending? Can we find more efficiencies within our system so we can drive down costs? There's a lot of things that we can do that we don't necessarily have to jump to raise taxes as a knee-jerk reaction. That should be a last resort, to be honest with you. So I think there's a lot of things we could do within the board to find money, make more money available, and then as a last resort, we can go to the taxpayers.
Ms. White?
All right, when we work together with, our township and, the county and the state, for a crystal ball so we could see into the future where we're really gonna need to do all this. Hopefully we do not go back to the Chris Christie years, we've been there, done that. And we move forward so well. Hopefully we'll just have to work very well with the township and the people that are in power, state and local. And hopefully we'll be able to get this done in a good way.
Well, I really hope that we don't get into that situation, but the reality is after next year, it's probably coming. So what you need to do, if you know it's coming, you need a plan for it. You need a long-term plan to deal with the situation, and the plan should be that knowing that you will have no extra funding coming in the following year. Right now, we don't have it. That's why I'm running for the board, and that's why I have this team here. We need experience to work with superintendent, with our BPAs, to have a long-term plan to address any possible funding issues down the road. It's great that we have a three-phase construction, but those three-phase construction has no dollar amount attached to it. Even the dollar amount attached to it were very, very low. The reality is these constructions that we have bidded out either double or triple the original the estimate presented, by the superintendent. We need a long-term plan. We need these plans to be realistic, and right now we don't have it, and we need to get it done.
Mr. Shi, we're going to start the next question with you, and then we'll go to Mr. Dima, and then we'll finish with Ms. White on this round. The district continues to grow, and as it grows, so do the demands for transportation. As the demand grows, there's an ongoing shortage of bus drivers. What ideas do you have for addressing the transportation challenges the district faces?
Well, the district has purchased 30 buses in the past during the COVID, and this is our way of addressing some of the issues. We have our own drivers, and then we can have triple routes. And also the other things, we have our own drivers to cover those expensive routes. There's no secrets to that. You have to continue to expand. You continue to get more buses, open up more routes. And, it's also good for the environment. It's also good for parents. You add one bus in the school, you reduce 50 cars on the street. So there's no rocket science. Continue to go, look for more buses, and open up more routes. If we need to buy more buses, we can get more drivers. Yes, go ahead with it. And we have tried some different methods to get drivers, and we're still short, about 10. And let's continue to work with the transportation department to get those 10 filled. Maybe you can do 30 routes if we do triple tier.
Well, just out walking, knocking doors these last 2 weeks, that transportation issue came up a lot with the residents. And you're right, the problem is growing, and labor shortages are a problem. I would continue to grow the program, fund it, buy more buses, but the labor shortage is a unique problem. We should have started way earlier, and if I was on the board, I would start the year before. Make sure that the software is working correctly, make sure we have enough drivers. We need to train these people driving buses for the first time. A lot of these people are just getting their licenses right out of school, and they're driving, and that's part of the problem why they're late. So again, I would start training these people the year before.
Buses problem, I told you before, we have a lot of problems for buses. So whatever Jerry says, I'm totally agree with Jerry. Thank you.
For the buses, I already made a comment earlier. State has like a $45 million grant for e-buses. Okay, so and those are like free buses. There is no burden on the taxpayer. Okay, they give you like $45 million, and you can ride up like in the next 3 years or so. So you can buy more buses and definitely hire more drivers from the district, and it should solve the problem without any issue. And taxpayer won't have any problem. Taxpayer won't have any burden paying any taxes from that. It's free money.
Like has been mentioned earlier, that the township has been purchasing buses, bringing some of that operation back in-house. So I'm sure there's actually a sweet spot where you want to be to balance costs, to balance the routes, so everything operates smoothly. So I'm a firm believer that the drivers just didn't disappear. Are we providing the right incentives to get them? And it goes for any profession. It goes to educators, board administrators. Are we providing the right incentives to find the right people? And I would actually encourage the board to consider that.
Okay, transportation has been a major topic and has had issues for at least the last 25 years. Every start of school, we have this terrible, terrible problem. Our current administration is working to diagnose the problems impacting transportation, and they're working to develop a better system. And I have faith in the current administration to continue the work on this issue, and look forward to working with the administration to help them resolve this problem. I did ask Dr. Aldarelli if I could be on some sort of committee to see what we can do to focus on this. Our priority is always to get the kids to and from school safely. That's the most important thing. And our teachers are spending their own time to stay with the kids after school hours to make sure that they are safe until they can get on the buses to get home safely.
Thank you. Ms. Bynum, we're going to stay with you, and then we'll go to Mr. Shee so we can get the incumbents first on this next question. And this question is, the Murphy administration has made providing access to free pre-K to all a priority.
Yes.
So my question to this panel is, how can Edison meet this goal given the current overcrowding situation that we're in right now with the students that we have in the schools? So Ms. White, I'll ask you to lead, and then to Mr. Shee, and then we'll
Actually, we're working on this right now. Dr. Tui, bless his heart, has got a plan that, they're going to, expand it to the private schools. This is just in the works right now, so I don't really have good information for you, and I'd rather not say anything that's to say the wrong thing, but we are planning on expanding this, and it's going to be a godsend for the 3- and 4-year-olds. Right now, we're very limited. We just have those 2 small schools. You all know it, and if this comes fully into practice, it's going to answer a whole lot of questions. Okay, that's it.
So the district had a plan to have offer free K. The purchase of the Our Savior's Church is the first step. And if we can, add space in that space, we can do that. And we need a space on the south side. That's why the school has been fighting really hard to get Stelton School. Unfortunately, we're not getting it. The township administration, although Mr. Mackey, promised to give that school to us, and the current mayor said no. It's going to be a challenge, but the Dr. Tui has found some creative ways. We're working with the private institutions to send our students there so they can offer the pre-K to our students. And I made sure that, with Dr. Tui, these private institutions are not going to pick and choose. It's for everybody. And there will be a lot of challenges when we go to these private daycares because of transportation and all that. So, and the district hired a supervisor head of her own responsibility is to work on the pre-K. And the district is doing what it is, and doing in the implementation phase. And I can't wait for next year for the 3 and 4 years to get into the pre-K program.
Thank you, Mr. Sheik. Mr. Dean.
I think it's a great program. It's at zero cost to the taxpayer. It's federal money, and that's what I just wanted to add to what Jimmy said.
Yeah.
We have come to long way on overcrowding issue. We had over $100 million in school expenses, including new classroom, gym, and field. But there is more to do. Thank you.
Full-time pre-K program is wonderful. It definitely helps students in the helps like students in the long-term academic growth. And I'm glad we found the solutions and offering full-day pre-K program with the help of private schools. Only my questions I have is why it's so long? Other district offering this program 10 years before actually. Okay, when I was looking for my kid pre-K in Jersey City, they were offering free pre-K full-day program 10 years ago actually. Why we are after 10 years? Thanks.
Yes, so as a candidate, I certainly don't have the knowledge of what is talked about in addressing this issue. But one thing that I've kind of heard is to actually partner up with local businesses in Edison, so to actually make this a reality, so we don't add to the overcrowding. I don't necessarily have much to add to this, but the one thing I can say is I think complex solutions, we need to start thinking differently on how to solve them. And when reaching out to partners to help make this a reality, I certainly hope we look to seek other partners in the future to make other improvements to the district and make other opportunities available.
Thank you. We'll start at the end this time with Ms. Patel, and he's kind of going to pick up on something that Mr. Lugo just said. So lately, of course, we do have shortages in education. We have shortages in personnel. So with the labor shortages that we're facing right now, many districts are looking at privatizing a number of different functions. So I'm going to just make this a real quick one, 30 seconds, because I do want to get to our lightning round questions. So my question for you is, what is your position on privatization within schools? So we'll start with Ms. Patel and then come down this way. So Ms. Patel.
I'm sorry, I don't have any idea. So I don't give you any wrong information. Thank you.
I'm against privatization. However, I would, to help alleviate some of the pressure, I would maybe bring back some mentoring programs, possibly for retirees, to come back and help, but definitely against privatization.
No private.
No privatization over my dead body.
Absolutely not.
For a district the size of Edison, I think we have the solutions here, and we have the talent to execute. So, no privatization.
Yeah, I would recommend privatizations. Our teachers are already skilled, and in case if we have shortage, definitely we should get a new teacher, and our senior teacher can train those teachers, and we can work around. But we don't require privatization in the school.
I'm back with some more quick, short response questions. The first question I have for you, and we'll start this time with Mr. Parikh, and we'll go that way. How would you rate the district's use of iPads, Chromebooks, and MacBooks for the students? And Ms. Penny has a list here. Too little, too much, or just right?
Just right, actually.
From my experience with my kids, too much.
Just right.
For elementary school, I think it's too much. For the high school, maybe it's about right. That's my position.
just right.
It's too much.
Thank you. My second question, you have two options. Do you believe that everyone should have physical textbooks, or do you prefer an increased use of digital textbooks and resources for students?
I'll prefer physical textbooks.
Personally, I prefer physical textbooks, but kids are a different generation. It might come down to a personal choice.
I prefer the physical textbook.
I guess it's a choice of the students, what they decide. But we want to make sure the millions of dollars we spend on the physical textbooks, they're being used. They're not locked in the closet, and the kids want to have it, they can have it. But the reality is, a lot of these, we spend a lot of money on textbooks, on workbooks, they're not being used, and they're locked in the classroom. This is the last thing we want to see.
My kids would probably say digital. I like the convenience of the digital textbook, but I also like the physical textbook myself. I believe they should have a choice.
I believe digital and textbook both, and depend like whatever is easier for kids. Thank you.
Thank you. The last question is a yes or no question. Do you support the use of artificial intelligence, such as ChatGPT, in the classroom? So we'll start this time with Ms. Patel. I guess we'll just vary it up and we'll go down the line. So yes or no, if you support the use of artificial intelligence in the classroom?
Yes.
I think it's too new to be regulated, but I think it's a great tool if it does become regulated properly, because I can see right now it's not, and the kids could use it to cheat a lot on reports. But I'm all for it once it becomes regulated more.
I use ChatGPT. My company just opened up a company-wide ChatGPT for use. So it's just how you use it, and just make sure that the kids are not cheating with it. And you have, this in the modern age, you can't avoid that. And just, make sure that they're using the right way. Actually, it's very, very helpful if you actually use the right way.
I think it's a little bit too soon to tell. I think we should wait and see a bit.
Okay. I agree with what Mrs. Shi just said. A responsible use and, quite honestly, supplemental use, not primary.
I would say, like, once we define the policy,
One of our postcards here. So I'll start with Mr. Priest, since you have the mic already. So question from the floor is, what can you or what can the board, we can substitute that, do to improve communication between the board and everyone else that is affected by the board's decisions, if you will, staff, community, etc. So great.
that's what I prefer. Like, okay, the new people brings new ideas. Okay, so I will suggest everyone try to keep like vote for the new people. Because I will definitely suggest, like, we should bring some community leaders in the monthly or quarterly meeting and get their ideas and suggestions, and implement some solutions, so that way we have the clear transparency between the board and taxpayer.
I would say just, plain and simple, being approachable and having an open door. I know that's actually quite vague, but that could be done in a various different ways. Accessibility to the right people to communicate the right message is key, and being able to receive those messages, open door policy, email. We're all, as far as I'm concerned, we're all neighbors here. Email, see the board member on the street, talk to them. We just need to keep the communication flowing by any means possible, and keep it, because The exchange of communication is also the exchange of ideas, and we all learn from each other.
I think we just really have to listen to each other, be able to reach out to each other, have people answer their phone, answer their emails, touch base with each other on a regular basis. A lot of people, do unfortunately hide behind their answering machines or their emails and don't get back to you. We need to be very open, get back to everybody, to speak to everybody. We need to build bridges where we're uncomfortable, build bridges with the town, build bridges with the county, see what we can do to make things better for all of us and for the district. It's, I think that's a start. Thank you.
One of the district goals this year is improving communications. And the district hired a communication director, and soon you will be hearing apparent universities. And the district webpage will be redesigned. All of this are part of this enhanced communications. So we have realized this is an issue, and that's why it's a board goal. And we'll continue to work on it and make sure that, as I said, we're going to help the administration accountable to those goals. And we want to see that there will be some results by the end of the year. But this district already making the steps to improve that.
I personally think all students, teachers, and parents should have a voice. I would personally make myself available. This is one of the reasons why I want to volunteer. And I would volunteer my time and make myself available. I would like to have an open dialogue. I want to be as transparent as we possibly could and operate in an ethical manner while doing so and make myself available any way I can. That's part of the job I feel, and I'd like to deliver that.
In addition, we have a lot of educators, like experienced educators, right? So we learn from them. We call them and we can ask them. They have a lot of ideas, so we can use their ideas. This is the best for our VOA members and everybody. So we need experienced people. This is where I believe that.
Thanks. For this one, Mr. Lugo, we're going to start with you, and then we'll go to Mr. Brigham and with our two incumbents on this one. There are, of course, 9 members on the Edison Board of Education, and within the Board of Education, there are a significant number of committees. I don't even know how many committees there are. So my question is a very short question for you. My question is, will you commit tonight to ensuring that committee assignments will be distributed equally across all members of the committee?
Would I commit? Absolutely, 100%. I would commit to that.
Yes, I would absolutely commit for that.
Yes. I'm absolutely coming for that.
Yes, 100%.
The committee members is not for sure. The committee is to get work done. You need to get the people who can get the work done on the committee. It's not an equal distribution, and the people who have experiences to work on. And we have seen committees that do nothing. We have seen committees that do a lot of things. So the key is get the work done.
I believe it should be distributed. I had one committee now, and my committee is open to, I'm allowed to have 3 board members on it, and my committee is the liaison committee. So I have a lot of people from outside the board, and we bring them in, and that's how we try to build bridges and try to make good things happen. And they are. Sometimes things move slowly, but they do move. But I do believe that we should spread it out a little bit, and try and have people on other committees. It would be nice. Thank you.
Mrs. White, we're going to start with you on the next one. Mr. Lugo, you'll go, and then Mr. Shi will be the last on this one. For several years, we've had the Township Liaison Committee. In your opinion, are relations between the Edison Board of Education and the township government improving? And if not, what can we do to improve that relationship? Ms. White first. No.
Okay. Okay, let's face it, there's always room for improvement. That committee is very dear to me, and I think, they're very supportive of the Board of Education. They take time out of the middle of their day to come to us and speak to us and try and make good things happen. I'm very proud of that committee, and I have been for a long time. That's been my committee for 3 years. And I think, I've had support from the township level, from the county level, and I've even had it from the state level. We've had assemblymen, and they've all tried to move forward in a positive way. They give us, pointers on grants, everything you can possibly think of. The Woodrow Wilson project was a complete hand-in-hand, work together, and I'm so happy for that. And anybody that has gone to Woodrow knows how bad that was. They opened Gloria Avenue, and things are moving beautifully there. So I'm happy with that, and that is truly liaison Board of Ed.
Thank you.
And the town. Thank you.
So from the aspect of liaison and working with other groups, the only thing I can speak to is my own personal experiences where communication is key. Always seek collaboration. And when you seek collaboration, always make the assumption you're not the smartest person in the room. There's always something to learn from somebody. And with liaison, reaching out to other departments or the groups within the town, within the county, it's a great opportunity to expand. It's a great opportunity to grow, and it's a great opportunity to leverage resources and take advantage of other skills and talents.
I agree with my colleague, Ms. White, so I have nothing more to add.
Mrs. Patel. I'm sorry.
I too agree with my team. I believe the relationship is good right now, and we need to build on it.
Mr. Shu.
As I said before, if you want to see whether the committee is good or not, it's what has delivered. So the key of this committee 3 years ago is to get us Stelton School. We did not get that. 3 years, the administration dangling the carrot in front of us, and we just found out we're not getting it. And there are requests for this committee. The traffic lights at the Boulevard of Eagle and Old Post Road. I don't know where it is. The traffic light at the playing field outside the Woodrow Wilson. I don't know where it is. It is great. We had one achievement, which is open up the Gloria Street. It is great. But there are a lot of things that need to do. And with the traffic and everything that's going on in the district, we need more help from the township if they're willing to help. They can get a lot of things done, but they're not doing it.
Okay. We are running long, so I'm going to ask one more question, then we have a quick lightning round question. So my question at this point has to do with recently there have been some concerns expressed about the rankings of the Edison schools. We brought up at a couple of Board of Ed meetings. So my question for you, it's a quick question, it's kind of two-part, is number one, how much importance do you place on these rankings? And secondly, as a board member, how would you envision trying to address some of the concerns that the parents have raised about the rankings? So why don't we start with Mr. Parikh, and then we'll move on.
So rating is very important, okay, but there are a lot of other factors we need to consider because it's a psychological effect. It affects the parents' mind and taxpayer actually. So rating is very important. We definitely need to work on the couple of rating company, ask them the criteria, so they consider the way they, how they rate it, and once we understand the criteria, we should educate our parent, with how much we should consider, the rating, and yeah, we should definitely find the criteria for the rating companies and educate the parents.
I would actually say it would depend upon who's doing the ranking and what the criteria is. When we look at some of these rankings, we actually exist in the world of means and medians, averages, which don't necessarily go down and reflect to flesh and blood children. I think if the school board and the administration, the schools, the educators, the staff, if we just focus on reaching potential, striving to be better, you don't have to worry about rankings. And we need to do what's best for the kids. If the rankings out, if we do push forward, we do improve, top 25 in the state, I honestly think it'd be top 25 in the nation, to be honest with you. It's how hard are we willing to work to get there. But first things first, one step forward at a time, be better every day, and the rankings will be where they are.
COVID did damage beyond anybody's comprehension. You know, the fact that our kids had to be schooled from, virtually, it hurt. It hurt in so many ways. And this is just another part of it. Dr. Aldarelli explained this beautifully at the last board meeting. He went through it, from one side to the other. But a lot of it's got to do, we are still recovering. It's going to take us a long time. That's why so many of our children are having different issues in other ways, as well as test results. But we will persevere and we will get through this, and our ratings will come up. I know it.
If any of the rankings rank our Woodbrook, our John Adams, our Woodrow Wilson as one, I will throw that ranking out of the garbage. You guys all know how good our schools are. You are the educators. You are in the classroom every single day, right? If our school is worse than some of the average district, I wouldn't believe any of those rankings. So, but there are issues that we need to address. One of the issues that a lot of times impacts the ranking is the facility. That's why we're addressing some of that. And if you look at other rankings, it's the food. The food, we changed the food better. The ranking went up by a little bit. So, and the other is offerings of these courses. What other courses can you offer? Right now, we can offer those courses, but the problem is we don't have space. We need to increase our spaces so we can offer these courses. Our ranking will definitely go up.
Well, I can talk to you from a taxpayer's perspective. I would definitely want the rankings to go up. I feel one of the problems right now is that the staff is spread too thin, from what I hear. I believe increasing staff where needed, especially paras, would help us reach kids better. Because right now I believe you guys are spread too thin. Thank you.
I would like to say educators and school, just go to ask you, whoever saw your problems, go to them. Just them. You are pillars of school people, right? Students. I believe you. Teachers are pillars. So whatever you need, anything, just go to ask any candidates and anybody to help you. This is where you can help for rating, Only you can do it. Thank you.
And here's our final set of lightning round questions. So again, you're going to ask you to complete the following sentence. And Ms. Penn has a little reminder too, but with just a simple phrase or a few words. So the first one is, every Board of Education member must. We'll start with Mr. Parikh.
Must follow the policy.
Must be ethical.
Must be honorable.
Must have no conflict of interest.
Must be transparent and ethical.
Must be they do duties.
Okay, Now we'll go in reverse order, but the similar type of question. You're going to finish the following sentence. Every Board of Education member should never, and we'll start with Ms. Patel this time.
Never go against each other. Stay together. That's it.
Never do anything unethical.
Never put their family members' interest over students' interest.
Never make promises that you cannot keep.
Never ignore intuition.
Never do any unethical stuff.
My final lightning round question for you is that if elected and you were given a choice of committees to serve on, what would be your number one choice for committees? So we'll start this time with Mr. Parikh.
Finance and technology.
Finance.
Liaison.
Finance.
Facilities followed by athletic.
Of course, finance.
Thank you very much. Jerry's going to finish the night off.
All right, we could do this all night because we have hundreds of questions, but unfortunately, we're running out of time, and I do want to honor everybody's time. I want to thank everybody who was so patient tonight. I know you all have other places to be, and yet you came to spend the night with us, so I do appreciate that. To my candidates up front, I do appreciate your frankness and your honesty in your answers. Pretty good discussion on a lot of the issues, and I do appreciate that as well. So again, thank you for participating, being here tonight, and being so open to answering so many of these questions. We're going to close things out with a closing statement. So we went this way the first time, so we will start with you, Mr. Parikh, for closing statement. You'll have up to 2 minutes for your closing statement. Thank you.
I'd like to take an opportunity to thank ETEA, all the teachers, all the administrative staff, custodian, for setting up a wonderful night and listening us and allowing us to express our views. Also, I would like to thank people sitting here and watching us at home for this time and support. I would like to request all the people, please vote for the change. And I promise you, with your vote and with my organizational management, budgeting, accounting skill, we can bring some real changes and maintain our zero increment tax policy and inflationary tax policy. Thank you.
I would like to say thank you very much to our hosts and to all of our guests here tonight for the invitation. Quite honestly, from a very personal level, it's been very humbling, and it's been an honor to be here to speak to everybody. First time I've ever considered myself a candidate for anything, and it's been a real pleasure. I just want to go back to a couple things that I alluded to, like in my intro. I am a scientist. I am big on innovation. The challenges we face, we don't even know what the challenges next year are going to be, and the rate that technology continues to improve, the way our population continues to grow. We need out-of-the-box thinking because we need to deliver success for our kids in the classroom, and we need to deliver. I look forward as a candidate to continue to stick to my commitment for a 4th year 0% tax increase, along with my running mates, Mr. Shi and Angela. And all of you, the teachers, a big thank you. You are the professionals in the classroom, and the other educators as well, the support staff. You make the schools a second home for especially.
Okay, once again, I'd like to thank you for inviting all of us to this event. As always, everyone did an amazing job in putting it together. And I would like to emphasize that serving on the board has been an honor, and I would love the opportunity to continue supporting our community and your organization in this capacity. After so many years in our district, all of you hold a special place in my heart, and you know you do. As a 26-year member of this union and from a generational family of union members and advocates, I assure you that you will always have a sympathetic ear who will listen when needed. And please consider supporting my running mates as well. Be well and have a wonderful school year. Thank you.
Expand schools with zero tax impact to taxpayers. Ensure clear and concise parental choice. Hold administration accountable. Provide a path to success for all students. These are the 4 platforms of Column 2. Our vision is supported by a record. It's a record of improving our school infrastructure by adding classrooms, auditoriums, gyms, and fields. A record creating culture that encourage and support our educators. A record of 0% tax increase by cutting fraud and waste by making prudent financial decisions. It's a record of working together. If you like the process we made this year and want to continue on that path, then I hope you will support our team, Chris, Angela, and myself on Column 2. At the end of the day, the question you need to ask, when you have issues, when you have grievances, who will be there to listen to your grievances? And the people you vote, will they be able to do that? There's a lot that has been done, but there's even more to do. My teammates and I stand ready to work with you to ensure a better and brighter future for our school district. We are one Edison. Thank you and have a good night.
Well, I want to thank everyone for having us out here tonight. It was a great time. It was a great forum here. I enjoyed being here and having the opportunity to speak with you guys. I want to make it clear that I wholeheartedly support unions. I come from a union household, as I stated in my opening statement. If elected, I want to be able to work together, move our schools forward, okay, for everyone, all the stakeholders, the parents, the teachers, the students. I'm not running for this office because I'm looking to advance to another position or start a career. I simply want to volunteer time in my community one more time as I have in the past. And you will have my open transparency. You can come to me with anything. So that's what I'm going to bring to the board. Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank you to ETA for organizing tonight's event. I also want to thank you all to candidates for joining us to wonderful discussion. It has been a pleasure speaking to you about so many issues. I hope you have had an opportunity to learn about me, my reason, and my value. I look forward to learning from you. Your experience, insight, and opinions are so valuable in shaping good policy. Learning about and from each other is process and it will take time. Know that my door is always open and I really want to hear from each of you. Thank you. Thank you for a wonderful night. Thank you.
All right, well, he started us off, so I'm going to invite Mr. Bowden up to close us out.
Thank you, Jerry. I just wanted to reach out, a warm thank you to Sunshine Grill for the food, which is on Amboy Avenue. Also want to thank Mr. Ed Fallon from Harrier Audiovisual, who does a great job for us every year, so you definitely should use him for your private events. I would like to thank Rob and Michelle Selesky for doing the Facebook, Sue for doing the timekeeping, certainly our moderators over here, and a special thank you to our secretary, Ruth Ann Quinn, who works tirelessly on this and other events for the association. And she does a great job. She's long home by then. And above all, I want to thank the 6 candidates behind me for doing everything. Remember, this is an unpaid job. It's certainly a job that comes with much criticism and strife, just like my job. And it just comes with the territory. But these people do it, for their personal beliefs in making Edison a greater place to live. And I know for myself, Edison has been a great place to have a career here. So a big round of applause for those candidates. Please get out and vote, however you vote. Remember, only 3 of the 6 behind me will prevail this time. Thanks again. Have a great evening. If you would like leftovers,